Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. My name is Zach, otherwise known as Pulpy Syntax, and today has been a pretty good day. It's a beautiful day outside, barely a cloud in the sky, so I might get some skating in this afternoon, but I have a plan for the vlog today, for my Vlogmas today. My friend who is driving and keen to see suburban lights for Christmas has agreed to do it tonight, so at 8 o'clock we'll be jumping in their car. And I've still got to figure out how I'm going to film that in a good way, but wish me luck. Today I also did my first collaboration live stream with DC Media Girl and Charlie Gold, and I did post about that in my community tab yesterday, completely overwhelmed with the idea that reaction channels who I watched early in the year wanted to have a discussion with me. And I jumped at the chance and immediately agreed, and I hear the comments. I may not have the time to respond to every comment. I have a history of jumping into a lot of conversations in my in my comments, but I just want to say this now. I hear you. I have read your comments. I have understood the feelings that are being vocalized there, and I recognize there is a vocal call of disappointment. However, I think the live stream was a success. I think that if you're willing to judge the material on the material, feel free to go and check it out, because I feel like my authentic self can be seen in all of my content, and I do not believe I'm here for the drama. I'm really not. I could give two hoots about it all. I have said from the very beginning, I do try to bring a little bit of joy, and to utilize reaction content as a framing device to educate both myself and anyone willing to have a conversation, and inspire where I can. Chantel and Amber have inspired me, so I hope to inspire in a different way. And that's all. And yeah. That's all I really wanted to say in the introduction. Today's video, though, we will be reacting to Miss Amberlynn Reid's No More Daily Vlogs, Vlogmas Day 13. Now, you might be asking, Pulpy, Zach, why are you doing all of this Vlogmas mess? We know that Amber hasn't successfully completed a Vlogmas. And yes, I understand that. But those of you who have been, the small amount of my lovely audience who have been watching my vlogs, understand that I do so much of it, not just out of the joy of creating content and running my mouth, because that's what I love to do, but I also want to prove to myself that I can do this thing that others speak on doing and don't. So regardless of the quality of the content, I know walking around the city is not everybody's favorite thing to watch with some copyright-free music over it, but I enjoy it, and it's slice of life, right? It's things that I would be doing naturally, whether or not I have a camera stitched to my shoulder. So the reason why I kind of want to delve back into the histories, the annals of history, for Miss Amberlynn Reid and her Vlogmases is because I'm interested, right? So yesterday I did a reaction on her last accessible Vlogmas from 2019, and here there are later videos, but they aren't daily. So I wanted to kind of get a little bit of an introspective. For those of you who know, I didn't watch Amber through 2018. I caught it kind of on the tail end of 2019, 2020. So I'm really interested to get a little bit more history, a little bit more perspective on the content, and hopefully, even though this was 2 years ago, we can have kind of discussions on, you know, where Amber is now, you know, the story between 2 points of history, and hopefully get a little bit of, you know, inspiration and some good times out of it. So with all of that being said, and that was a lot to say, let's get in with the video. As always, we are sped up to 1.25 times speed, and here we go.
Hey guys,
Hey,
welcome
Amber.
to Vlogmas Day 13. I woke up a little bit ago. I'm just not in the mood today for anything, hence my shirt. Definitely not today.
You know I love a graphic tee. Oh, no. Not for me.
This was a perfect fit because I just feel like, no. Becky, Eric, and Ricky, they all went out to eat. They invited me and I didn't want to go, which is weird for me because I love going out to eat, but it's just with my leg. It's been bothering me, and I haven't talked about this, but ever since, I want to say the last couple months, maybe 3.
Before Amber continues, there will be a lot of discussion below on cycles, I imagine, because by me doing this, I'm not just highlighting the cycles of Vlogmas, but I'm also drawing attention to any people who are new to the sphere, including myself. I wasn't around at this time. Any people who are kind of new to this little corner of the internet, that a lot of her narrative, a lot of the things that she shows is cyclical. There is always a health concern every now and then. There's always a new diet every now and then. And the modern day 2020 Amber, the hope was that after the hysterectomy and after the cancer scare and after, you know, deteriorating health, that finally there would be a moment of enough's enough. It's time to take my health into my own hands, and if that means seeking professional assistance, so be it. How she wanted to frame that in terms of her content is absolutely entirely up to her as a content creator, as the producer, director, star, editor, all of those things. It's entirely up to modern day Amber how she wishes to move forward with both her content and her health. So yes, there will be a lot of discussion of, wait, now I'm confused. Was that this year or last year, or was that 2 years ago? But I think it's important to recognize when you're kind of stuck, right? From my experience, my late 20s were not a great time, and reflecting on that, I see my own cycles. Like I see my own, I'll do this fad diet for a couple of weeks and not address the concerns that I'm having with it, and then I'll end up with just my face in a bucket of ice cream consistently. Like it happens so frequently. So again, utilizing this content as a framing device, I think that I'm happy now because I've broken the cycle, right? Like I'm out of returning to what I had been doing for years, and I truly wish that Amber would receive assistance, because I just don't think she has the personal strength of character to break out of it of her own accord. I honestly feel like having a healthcare team, you know, whether or not it's a therapist or a dietitian, whatever, like having that assistance would help. It would help her get out of doing the same thing every year and her health being showcased and deteriorating before our very eyes. Anyway.
The last few months, I just haven't really liked going in public as much as I used to, and I think that's why I'm always at home. I've become sort of a hermit, which is weird because that's not me, like the person I truly am. And
historians, let me know when the discussion of the definition of bedbound happened, because I feel like that was in the middle of 2019. She was definitely still in this house, and I remember it was a big narrative point. So this is interesting. I think that it probably happened not long after this, and I'll speak on my own experiences here. Absolutely relatable, right? At my biggest, I would still, like, I wasn't the nicest person at work. I'm a much nicer person now, but like at my biggest, I would still get invited to like work gatherings and parties and things like that. But I was so self-conscious, and so aware of my discomfort in social settings that I just wouldn't. I would, you know, we'd get free tickets to the theater, and I love theater, but because of my weight and because of where I was mentally, I just wanted to go home. I wanted to go home and play video games and shut myself in, and escapism was a really big part of where I'd got to, because I was escaping my reality by diving into books, by diving into video games, by not having to have an element of social engagement that would make me uncomfortable. Because I think that at my biggest, it was just all about comfort. But you know what? When you're morbidly obese, and even if you're still functional, and I'm not trying to draw a parallel there, I'm just saying if you're, as you go up in the categories, you can lose mobility and things like that. Even when you still have a life, a general sense of a life while being morbidly obese, I in my experience, you lose out on so much, because whether or not it's you physically can't do something, or whether or not you're emotionally unable to commit to doing something. The amount of parties and drinks and gatherings that I just said no to because I was lazy and didn't want to expose myself in that situation. I mean, there reached a point where I'd get invited out to something and I wouldn't have anything to wear because everything that I owned was work orientated, and I didn't have like a nice thing that I could just go out for a drink in. Oh boy, that's some reflection. Anyway.
And I know it's because of my weight. I feel ashamed, and I feel like people look at me more, and I know I look like absolutely atrocious, and I'm embarrassed. I feel like lately I only go in public if I like absolutely have to, which is like never, because I never really like have to besides my appointment coming up.
So yeah, so as I was saying, that's all very relatable, but I would argue that those things are like they're emotional and they're within yourself, and if you can't get a hold of, if something doesn't happen for you to get a hold of them, professional help may be the best way to assist in that, I guess. And this has now made me think on like how many times we've had this discussion with Amber, and question whether or not this is calculated, whether or not this is raw and real. I mean, a lot of my discussions, I do have to remind myself that although this is filmed and produced and approved through her content, there's still another human being on the other side of this. And so there is still automatically for me an emotional connection seeing someone struggling. And, there's a whole heap of conversation about all of that. But I'm really only here to speak on my perception as an audience member and the relation between the media and my own experiences.
Which that is something else that has been weighing on my mind, is my appointment for my leg. I'm nervous because people keep messaging me, and it's like, it's always about blood clot, blood clot, blood clot. And like, I appreciate people, like, they're worried about me and they're fearful for me and they care about me, but it's just like, you're making me scared. And I've noticed that I don't have really the symptoms of a blood clot, but still it's scary.
Don't self-diagnose. Just don't. And I have to remind myself, this was pre-2020. This was 2018. I think that if something is wrong and it's new, if it's not something you're currently aware of and managing in regards to your health, it may be time to step foot in your general practitioner's office and have a conversation about your weight. I do try to go to a GP at minimum once a year. Was when I was at my biggest. I realized that if I do it a bit more frequently, like I am better off. But having lost weight, there haven't been any kind of big health concerns. The last one was high blood pressure at the start of the year, which was addressed. Thankfully, me and my GP have a good relationship. And I know Amber's struggled finding that, and you could chalk that up to many things. In my opinion, it seems to be I don't want to just brand it as general laziness. I think that it's fear of recognizing the things that are wrong. Like, ignorance is bliss, right? And I think she also doesn't handle the relationship between authority and herself very well. But yeah,
Anyways, I just have a lot on my mind today, so if I'm a little off, that's why. But something exciting, I don't know why, but I got something in the mail from Torrid. I mean, I do know why. I have an order that's out, but they only sent me one thing, so I'm a little confused why it's literally just one thing.
Nice.
But let's take a look. Let's take a peek-see. Sometimes they ship orders separately, so that could have a lot to do with it, but
probably that, yep.
Let's see. First things first. Wow, we got some hot cash. Okay, I'm excited for that. I've literally become the hot cash queen, but there is nothing wrong with that. Oh yeah, I think this just shipped earlier than the other stuff, so this is what I got, which I'm really excited for. This is a size 6. It's a shirt, but I don't have many shirts that are like pink and cute and adorable, so I got me a pink V-neck shirt. I love the material on this. It's so like soft and light, and it's nice and cool feeling.
It kind of looks like spandex.
So
I don't know, it's just got shine on it.
It's just a plain tee, which is awesome.
Okay, nice.
So today has been just, I don't know, it's been a hard one. I just got done crying a lot. Like, look at my makeup smeared. Hold on. Fix it.
Critical minded Zach is saying don't. Emotional minded Zach is getting upset. It's conflicting. Why show us this, right? It's slice of life, it's vlogs, it's real and raw, like I mentioned before. But why show us this?
To the best of my ability, I really don't care at this point. Like, normally by now I would have been already showered and just like totally fine and content with life, but I just feel like crap. Me and Becky just had a very, very long talk. I was just like crying to her, and then she started crying. It was just like this whole thing, and I was just like telling her just like about how horrible I've been feeling with my weight, and like how a lot of people always tell me Becky is an enabler, and that's just like hard for me to wrap my head around. And I don't know, I just kind of was saying how I just wish like people in my real life cared more about helping me. And I know it's no one's job.
Is she calling someone out in her real life in this? I don't know. I don't know what relationships look like in the Amberverse of 2018. I did pull up the definition of enabler. Noun, a person or thing that makes something possible. A person who encourages or enables negative or self-destructive behavior in another. I mean, regardless of the intent behind it, I think that if Becky's going out and like getting food that, I don't want to say like food she shouldn't be eating, right? But like, I guess you can have a positive experience with an enabler if they're enabling you to like better your health, if they're enabling you to live a better life, if you know, those things. I guess I don't often hear the word used in that regard, so maybe I'm completely off base there. It does mention negative or self-destructive behavior, and I guess that's kind of like the general idea of the term enabler. So in the past, I know Amber has showcased Becky driving through fast food, for instance. And does that enable Amber to then eat the fast food? Yes, it does. Is that negative or self-destructive behavior? I mean, that's Amber, and it's her prerogative in terms of her relationship with food. Now, if Amber was seeing someone to assist with her relationship with food, but Becky was like, I want Macca's for dinner, so we're gonna go for a drive, then that I think would be a different discussion. But okay.
To help me with my weight and what I put in my mouth besides my own. But I want people to be like, Amberlynn, I want you to get better. I want you to get help. And I started bawling my eyes out when I literally said, like, I just feel like no one in my real life cares about that besides people on YouTube. There are so many supporters, and I love you guys so much. And I just don't feel like you guys focus so much on my weight. And so
okay, I'm sorry to cut you off, Amber, but no. I've had this same thought, right? When I started losing weight, I was like, people aren't supporting me. There was like an element of I'm owed something, and that's past Zach sneaking up on me. I'm sorry, your health is your responsibility. Just as a general statement, right? Your health is your responsibility. Can you ask for assistance? Absolutely. Should you expect assistance? that's a different conversation. I don't think you should. So I don't think calling out, people in your real life to take responsibility for your health, which is directly impacted by the food you are enjoying, Amber, I don't think that's fair. You are the most important person in the room because it's your mortal shell, it is your mind. You have to make yourself the first priority. And even if you have dependents, you have to be your first priority to ensure that people who are dependent on you can benefit, live their best life, whatever. You can't expect people to put your life ahead of their own. I don't think. I think that's just nonsense. I may be wrong. Feel free to call me out if my opinion's wrong there, but okay.
You guys focus on the fact that I'm just, another person and I do have struggles, and you guys don't make it like a big, huge deal that I am an actual mess. Like, look at me.
Oh, times have changed. What? Was she not getting a lot of criticism in 2018? Man, I feel new. I feel very new. Interesting that statement is so not the modern Amberlynn Reid experience. And I kind of like it's in that statement, she's drawing a lot of positivity from her supporters and comment section. And I feel like perhaps the ratio has changed quite dramatically over the last 2 years. But here she's saying that people in her own world, people in her reality, her time off of camera aren't supportive of her, whatever this conversation is. Interesting.
There are people who come on my channel relentlessly every single day, and they're just like, fat, this fat. Like, it's frustrating. It's not things I want to hear, but the truth hurts, doesn't it? Becky and I equally both need to lose weight, and we know this.
I say it almost every vlog. I'm not here to judge appearance. I'm not here to judge really in general. I critique and comment and draw conclusions and connections into my own real life. Now, coming up on YouTube over the last couple of months, have I had people insult me in comments? Absolutely. And does my ratio of that type of communication differ from Amber's? Absolutely. But I say it all the time, you need to learn, if you're putting yourself out there in anything really, if it's on the internet, if it's walking down the street, if it's working towards a promotion at work, or whatever, if you're in communication with people in general, you need to learn to have a little bit of a thick skin and a little bit of maturity, and learn how we communicate, and learn that if you're not in a direct discussion with someone can say something, and you have to learn how that affects you or how it doesn't affect you. And Amber's just been doing this for 6-7 years. And even now, 2 years after this thing we're reacting to, I don't see a lot of growth in terms of how she interacts with commenters and her audience. And it is always interesting as well, because recently she put up her community posts speaking about her loyal supporters and the haters. And it's like you are working on forming a hard divide down your audience, which makes people more vocal, which riles everybody up. And I'm suspicious over it, because there are people who fall in the middle. There are people who see a fellow human being, want her to do better, but will also call out the things they find incorrect. That doesn't mean they're on here shouting fat, like she just said. And it doesn't mean they're out here saying, you're beautiful, you're perfect, you're Linda Evangelista. There are people who ride the middle of the line. And that's the thing with opinions. We can agree on certain aspects of a conversation, and we can disagree on certain aspects of a conversation. We can agree and disagree on people's actions and their vocalization of certain things and the points of discussion that they wish to make. But we're not going to understand any of those things if we just say, absolutely not, we're not having this discussion at all. It's not purely binary in terms of opinion. It's not 100 and 0. There's many shades of gray.
And we just like vented and talked and expressed feelings, and I felt like it really needed to happen because like I am insanely unhappy with myself, and there have been a lot of times recently where I was just like, I don't even want to be myself anymore. Like I literally hate myself, and that's so just degrading, and no one should hate themselves. They should love themselves and want to be the best that they can be.
Yes.
And I don't know, it's just a lot. Like
it is a lot, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but oh my goodness, does everyone see this clarity? Do they see it? And again, critical-minded Zach is saying, perhaps she's doing this for nefarious reasons. But emotional-minded Zach, which is pretty much driving the bus today, do you see the clarity? Could you imagine if she'd taken this and run with it, where we would be 2 years later? She'd said, I'm unhappy with myself, and no one should be unhappy with themselves, and we should love ourselves first and foremost. And taken that and made the steps to improve ourselves. Take what you're not happy about and do something about it. What you do about it is entirely within your realm. I wouldn't suggest doing things like continuing mukbangs or finding fad diets or, doing the things that I think Amber kind of did after 2018. If only she could grab onto these moments of clarity. And I've had them before as well. I would lay in bed and feel myself bigger. Like I would feel bigger. When you put on weight, you can feel it. It's slow, but you get to a point where you do feel it. And whether or not it's in the clothes or just the way, you walk, like my gait changed a lot, you feel it. And it has an emotional impact. Because you wake up and you realize, I don't want to be in this body. I don't want to be this person. And I'm sure the same conversations happen on an emotional level or, a maturity level or a mental level is what I'm trying to say. Like, for me, I started waking up and realizing I can choose to be positive. I can choose to be happy. No one can take those things away from me but me. So why should I go to work and just feel miserable and communicate in such a piss poor manner and not be the person who wants to be who wants to be friendly, right? I just feel for Amber in this. And it really does upset me to think where we are 2 years later.
I feel like the person I am on the outside is nothing like the person I am on the inside. Like, there's so many things that I want to do. Like, I want to go to Bora Bora, or I just want to travel. Like, I want to travel so bad. That's just like such a dream. And I have the means to do it. And I have such an amazing job to where I can do it, but I don't have the body or the health to do it. And I don't know, it's been a very eye-opening last like hour or so. So,
I mean, it would have, I imagine that conversation would have been pretty deep to get like this deep, which is good. I mean, it's healthy. And imagine, someone who's learned in mental health, like leading this conversation and assisting Amber. I think, oh goodness, that would have been so good. Yeah. I don't like I never agree with the distinction of my body doesn't belong in this brain, because have I thought that? Yes, absolutely. But you also have to come to a recognition that like your mind is within this body. You are one thing. So the decisions and the directive and the drive that you have in relation to that is really important. You can't just kind of give up mentally and expect your body to just like take over. I don't think that's worked for anyone. Oh, this is hard. I didn't think it would be this hard. I was expecting 14 minutes of not this. This is surprising.
It's really nice to sometimes just like let it all out and just express your feelings and just cry like a crazy, and I actually feel a lot better after crying. So, but today's vlog is not good, so I'm sorry. So I usually have the vlog already done and scheduled by this time of night, so you guys usually never see me looking like this, but today just hasn't been the greatest. I have my highs and I have my lows. I feel like a lot of people, can understand where I'm coming from, but I think I might take a break on Vlogmas. I don't know if I've ever done that, because this is my 5th Vlogmas and I've never taken a break before, but it's just, I don't know. I have seen so many vloggers that I watch take a break this 2018 Vlogmas, and of course it was sad because it's like, oh my god, you are like my daily routine. I love watching your vlogs, but sometimes you just need a break for personal reasons, mental reasons, and I've noticed that a lot of these vloggers have so much support from their following, and I just hope that I receive the same. Coming on here and just vlogging saying, hi, I'm having a bad day, like that's not cute. Like who wants to see that? It's almost like a pointless video. And
I mean, it is a little bit, unless there's a message behind it, I guess. I mean, it does show a level of respect to your audience to even if you're only making like a 30-minute video, a 30-second video, to come on and be like, hey guys, sorry, something's come up, this and this. And if you don't want to do that, that is absolutely fine. I mean, the responsibility we have as creators to our audience is like the onus is on us. How we interact and how we build the expectations of our audience. It's entirely, you know, up to us and what we do. If tomorrow I turned into a drama channel and just started, you know, doing that, like my audience would have a specific reaction because they're not used to that form of content. Vlogmas is a much smaller deal where the expectation is there will just be a vlog every day. And like, having done it myself, it's not the easiest thing in the world, specifically if you haven't done it before. It's really not, but I don't know. Like, you have to have respect for your audience. I think that's really important. But it is, I also understand the very unique challenge I feel that Amber has with her audience. And again, it keeps bringing me back to that community post that went up the other day of her basically drawing a line in the sand between the two camps within her comment section. Curious.
I don't like coming on here and showing you guys that I'm having a down day. I hate doing that more than anything. I like to come on here and just be happy and giggly and just having a good time. But
if it's put on, it's so transparent. If you're having a bad day, it's okay to talk about it. If you want to. I mean, you know, again, like, her content is her content and she will put up whatever she feels like. And that even 2 years ago, that was completely the case, according to this. But if you're having a bad day, I mean, it's okay. It's okay. And it shows a lot of humanity, right? And again, my critical mind is acting up and saying there is potentially something shady going on here. But, you know, again, emotional Zach is driving the bus. I think it's okay. I think if tomorrow, like, I mean, reflecting on my own Vlogmas, when there were rainy days, I still managed to find something. But I guess that's got to do with personality, right? And Amber, I believe, is an emotional person, an emotionally driven person. So if she's having a bad day and wants to vocalize that in content, I think, you know what? Anything's better than 9 minutes of countertop cleaning. So if she needs, I don't agree that a camera is a replacement for a mental health professional at all. But if she's just having an event, like, you know, I communicate my stream of consciousness every day. And recently it's just been on camera. So yeah, I guess this reflects a lot on the idea of content creators and the manipulation that can happen from the content that they create. But anyway,
can't really fake that for you guys at all. And it just reminds me of, you know, some of the comments when I am happy where people just are like, oh.
Also 2 years ago, she was as deep in the comments as she was in 2020. It seems.
She's fake, she's not really happy. It's like, no, when I'm showing I'm happy, that really means I'm happy. And when I'm showing I'm down, that really means I'm down. And I'm not complaining about Vlogmas because Vlogmas is everything. And Vlogmas is meant to be fun time. It's meant to be a good time of year.
But it doesn't have to be. I'm sure there are vlogs out there that are showcasing not a great time, specifically this year, 2020. And like, no, perhaps the audience is much smaller to see like not a great Vlogmas, but it's not an act. Like, I've never understood this perception that like that vloggers are, who was it? Oh, I can't remember who it was. So in the early years of the internet, there were vloggers who were vlogging fake lives. Like, they were actors vlogging a fake reality. And like now I think we've reached a point in social media where what's the point? Like, what's the point? Call it what it is. It doesn't need to be like, you don't need to convince me that this is your real life. I would much rather see content that is slice of life, content that is my day to day. And you know, I don't think Amber agrees with herself here, because we've seen plenty of content since then, which has not necessarily been happy, joy filled. And then that's okay, because as I say, everything is content. You just have to be mindful of the lines that you're willing to cross, I guess, in terms of, you know, truth and your own reality and all of that.
I'm gonna take this off because it's annoying me. So it's supposed to be a really good time of year and we're supposed to be having fun together, and it's just not happening today. And I don't know. Maybe I'm just nervous for my appointment. That could be it. But it's not even just that. I know that I am also just like feeling really down about my body and my health. I see these beautiful girls online and they talk so down on themselves, and they say how they think they're ugly and how they think they're fat and stuff. And it's sad that everyone is their own worst enemy, because everyone is beautiful in their own way. And it breaks my heart when people think that they look a certain way when they don't. I know body dysmorphia is a thing because I experienced it before. I have made a video on it where I thought I looked smaller than I really was. I touched on that in a whole other video. I think I uploaded it this year or last year. I don't really remember, but I no longer experience that.
I don't have a lot of experience with body dysmorphia. I know there's a school of thought out there that says like your own perception of your attraction is not the reality, but it's a hard conversation to kind of even get into, because attraction is subjective, right? It's not like I can't tell you the objective truth on the level of someone's attraction. But I do recall reading something psychology based, where like the reflection that we see in a mirror is like 10% up the attraction that may be the reality. Anyway, if anyone wants to pull up an article on that, feel free. Yeah, interesting. Does body dysmorphia need to be diagnosed? I mean, it's probably a self-diagnosed thing, I guess. But that opens a whole floodgate. I'll check while she talks.
As of lately, I have really, really processed in my head how big I am and how unhealthy I am. And I think that's what's causing me to become like a hermit. Like, I'm just terrified to go in public and ashamed to go in public because of...
Okay, so I have Dr. Google, and I know it's not always that cut and dry, but just by looking at it, right? BDD, mental illness involving obsessive focus on a perceived flaw, minor or imagined. Person may spend hours. Frequently examine their appearance in a mirror, constantly compare their appearance with that of others, and avoid social situations or photos. I mean, if I was going to self-diagnose body dysmorphic disorder, I mean, I ticked a lot of those boxes. I'm working on that confidence. Treatment may include counseling and antidepressant medication. Treatment can help, but this condition can't be cured. Requires medical diagnosis. Lab tests or imaging not required. Can last for years or be lifelong. Yeah. Okay, interesting. Sorry, just doing some reading while this is going on.
How I look, and it's uncomfortable and it's sad, it's depressing, and I know people look at me with pity and people look at me like I'm disgusting and people make fun of me in public, and I get it now. Like, and people have been really rude to me about Becky's birthday and saying I'm a horrible girlfriend and all this stuff. And for Becky's birthday, we're doing exactly what she wanted. Me, Eric, and Ricky made sure to ask her multiple times, like, what do you want to do for your birthday? What do you want for your birthday? So we are giving her everything that she wanted. And I said, you know, nothing is off limits. Like, what do you want? What do you want to do? And everything that I got her for her birthday is everything that she wanted. It's just really frustrating because people are like, what did you get her for her birthday? You're such a horrible girlfriend. And I'm over here like, I have been told so many times that I buy people's love. So it's like, I'm trying my hardest not.
Goodness, the conversations that continue to happen year on year. Wow. Eye-opening.
not to show, like physically show the things I get people, because I'm tired of people saying that I'm buying love. So now that like I'm trying to not show what I get people, people are saying that I don't get people anything. It's like, what is happening? Like, people love drama between YouTube couples. Like, people are always talking down on Trisha and Jason, or Megan and Anthony, Samantha and Dalton. It doesn't matter who it is. It's just, if there is a couple on YouTube, people are going to say that they don't love each other, or that they're throwing shade about each other, or just that there's
comments are going to comment. There will be speculation, there will be questions, there will be lots of things. It is up to us as content creators and producers how we engage with those comments, questions, and the audience in general. I'm unaware of the situation that's going on with Becky here, but sure.
a bad boyfriend in the mix, or a bad girlfriend, bad husband, bad wife. It's just like, why can't we just be happy and live in our lives? Like, I don't like getting in the middle of anyone's relationship. Oh, I don't know if you guys can still tell, but I was completely stained earlier because the dress I wore yesterday stained my whole body. My fingers got black, my inner arms got black. It was like this whole thing. Sorry, that was a random intermission of this conversation. But
the same thing happened this year with that plum lace top. Oh, so many similarities, everyone. I mean, if it was a torrid top, like maybe over the course of the last 2 years, you would learn that perhaps you need to wash the torrid clothes before you put them on so they don't stain. I don't know. I'm not familiar with torrid. I don't wear any. But maybe there is an instruction there to say, you know, cold wash first. Or maybe she's washing it in warm water, which is leading the dyes to bleed, which is then staining the skin when she puts them on. I don't know. There's a lot of hypotheses. There's a lot of theories that could work out. I mean, I don't mean to be rude, but maybe it's got something to do with sweat. Because if you had like a higher pH level in your sweat, like would that lead to the breakdown of the dyes and then the staining? I don't know. That's an interesting question.
I just had to say that because I don't think I'm still stained. Anyways, I don't know. It's just, I see hate on other people's channels about other people's relationship, and I know firsthand, I know exactly how they feel because people assume things like all the time. That's just like part of YouTube, I guess. And it kind of sucks, but you guys, Becky, we're doing everything for Becky that she wanted to do for her birthday and for my birthday, because I know some people were like, oh, Amberlynn's gonna be a whiny titty baby, like if she doesn't get what she wants for her birthday. And I've told everyone that I don't want anything at all. So I'm expecting not to get anything. So like, I mean,
what would you buy Amber for her birthday? Because I mean, even then, I imagine she was on the instant gratification train. So anything she would want, she would just get. I don't know. I don't know what I'd get Amber for her Christmas gift or her birthday.
A big deal about my birthday. Like, I'll be like, yes, it's my birthday, woo. And then like, it's over with. I'm just like, okay, cool, it was my birthday. So
yeah, I don't really celebrate birthdays all that much. It's just another rotation around the sun. I say thanks to mom and dad.
I don't know. I don't mean to like sit here and rant. Oh my god, I'm just like on a ranting thing, and I feel like that's why I should just like take a break. Some of my inspirations on YouTube have taken breaks from Vlogmas this year because people are just rough and like people need like a mental break. And I know being a YouTuber is so fun and it's like such an amazing opportunity, yes, but mentally it's rough. It is. Everyone's mentality is different though. Some people have tougher skin, some people don't suffer from chronic depression. It really just depends. Like for me, it's like bittersweet. I have that tough skin, but I also suffer from some serious depression. So it's like I kind of meet in the middle sometimes. But one of the biggest questions I get asked is like,
I've never been diagnosed with depression. I understand my own relationship with my level of anxiety and my level of general depression. Not diagnosed. There are far more learned people out there to speak on mental health. I don't understand. I say this so many times. I don't understand sitting on camera and saying I have all of these issues and not working on them, not addressing them. Because from my understanding, if you were diagnosed with something like clinical depression, like you would have someone to help, right? Or you would find someone to help, or you would be taking steps to manage that. I wonder if Amber just did that and got over it. I don't think that's how it works though. Curious.
How do you handle all this, like with your depression, and how did you build such strong skin? And I think it's just all the attacks I have received. They've been able to heal themselves, and I think just my scar tissue is a lot stronger than, you know, how my skin used to be. So it's like almost like the hate has helped me in a sense, but it's also like it really does affect someone, because to be attacked by thousands and thousands and thousands of people on a daily basis really can mess with someone, and you start believing all of the horrible things that people say about you. And
vehemently says they're not a health expert in any regard, right? Not a dietitian, not a nutritionist, not a mental health expert, not a physical health expert, just an audience member. I mean, turn off the comments. Is that what you do? Because I'm not a big fan of censoring comments. Like, I don't think it's fair to have an audience member spend time on trying to have a discussion with you. And like, hate is a different topic. I'm just kind of putting an umbrella statement over this. I don't think it's fair on a social media platform to make the conscious decision to censor an individual because they may disagree with you. And I feel like that's a level of you reading into things and your perception. And like she said before, if it was a commenter who just says fat, 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 like, okay. I would say if you are in this video claiming that you have a thick skin and da-da-da, then it wouldn't affect you so much. But I think that if you're, I mean, the consistency of being so deep in the comments, I never realized. I didn't think Amber was all that into her comments. Like, I knew that there was a poor reaction to whatever year she did the comment of the day thing, and that kind of led to some not great emotions for Amber, or that's at least how she portrayed it. But yeah, I mean, I get it. Your audience is loud and they're going to tell you what you think, and that's what it is. So I've said before, she has options, right? She has the luxury of just ignoring the comments, which I feel like she hasn't taken any advice out of the comments, but she's, again, my mind goes to that drawing of the line, haters versus supporters, which is curious. I didn't really think about that until today. Stay out of the comments, put on some censored words. I mean, that might help your own mental health. I honestly think that seeing a mental health professional would obviously be the best first step. Or do what you've done in the past and take a break from YouTube. Probably don't do it in such a way like October this year where you just kind of go radio silent. Like, I believe in respecting your audience enough just to say, I'm taking some time away and kind of leaving it at that. And particularly with what's going on in the comment in her community tab at the moment with, oh, I have a valid reason why we didn't continue Vlogmas in 2020. It's like, okay, but you're just drawing attention to the fact that you didn't do it, but you're not telling us why. So as an audience member, I mean, I'm not that hard pressed to feel slighted personally by it, but like, if you're going to explain something, right? If you're going to give reasoning and you're going to give things that you don't want to come across as an excuse, I think that you need to give a little bit more information. Perhaps that's just my way of thinking, and everyone kind of does it differently. So I'll stop talking.
Really rough. That's the hardest part of YouTube for sure, is just the negativity, but I stay here because there's so much positivity as well, and I try to really focus on that. I know it doesn't seem like it as of late, but like I said, I am so worried about my leg, and it's just put me in like this like weird slump type thing, and I feel like I'm going around and around in circles. But if I
was worried about something on a physical level, I would be going out and receiving physical health assistance. Was this when cellulitis? Was that what this was? Maybe. I mean, I'd be addressing that with a healthcare professional and not using Dr. Google or my commenters to tell me what's wrong with me. Oof. I kind of feel like that's like, it's interesting for me to sit here and use Dr. Google in relation to the content, right? And I know it's not always even close to accurate. And I know a lot of the questions that I ask have nothing to do with what's actually being seen. But again, I'm an audience member and I'm seeing what I'm seeing and drawing my own conclusions, and I'm just taking everyone along for the ride there. But I think that if you're having so much trouble with something physically that it was just putting you in a slump and keeping you at home, like it may be time to go and see someone about it.
Watching this and you're a supporter, I just want to say I appreciate you. Okay. Nope. I don't want to cry. Okay. I started to get a little bit emotional there. like as of recently, one of my most favorite YouTubers ever sent me a message, and now we talk here and there. And I never imagined, because it was one of the first YouTubers I ever watched. And she and another YouTuber are the only reasons I know what YouTube is. So she reached out to me, and if it wasn't for me being on here, I wouldn't have gotten to talk to her, and I wouldn't have gotten to talk to Carly Steele and Pink Sparkles. And I'm just like, Nikocado, Avocado, like all these people are so amazing and they're so sweet and kind. And my supporters, they're amazing too. Like, I love you guys. I really, truly do. And it's just like, I wish I could show it. Like, I don't know how, because I just...
You can. You just have to say thank you. I try to say it at the end of every video. I try to be as genuine as I can be on film. And I think that's the thing. I think a problem with Amber is that it doesn't come across as genuine. And we could have a conversation about the different personality elements that have gone from TikTok, YouTube, YouNow, Instagram, Twitter. Like the thing with this content is that the authenticity of it all comes into question, because the reality of the audience's experience outside of YouTube can be starkly different to what's happening here. And that's why I try not to like delve too deep into people's socials outside of YouTube, because I think that it's a very unique framing device. Vlogs and hauls and film, very different to lives and words, and I've kind of dipped my toes in here and there, but I honestly feel most confident as an audience member here. I'll let Amber finish.
I feel down, and I'm not complaining. This is just me being so completely honest with you guys. And I hate that I'm gonna have to edit this, because I look like a fool, and I hate when I rant. I'm so sorry, but I'm a lot up in here as of lately. So if I take a break, I just want to let you guys be warned about it, because I know some people get really worried about me when I don't post. I get messages all the time.
We knew this in 2018 and yet still has periods of radio silence, which is fine. But again, it just comes into the discussion of respect for your audience. And I get it. It must be hard to have the majority of your comments and interactions be negative. And how she manages that is with entirely her responsibility. But again, I just don't think she has the maturity to make, like, to put up a barrier.
Where people are just like, are you okay? And I just want people to know that my appointment is tomorrow, and I am just really nervous about it. But okay, I'm gonna stop ranting. I love you guys, and I will see you guys in my next video, whenever that is. Bye.
Bye, Amber. Okay, well, that took me places I didn't think we were going today. That was highly emotional. And I have a lot of things to think about. I mean, just in relation to that, it is, as I said at the start of this reaction, it is interesting to get retrospectives, because there are just so many years worth of content to analyze, and as an audience member to either critique or to influence our 2020. But the last two reactions have been an exercise in repetition, I think. Anyway, if you got to this point in the video, thank you so much for joining me. As always, I appreciate your comments, opinions, and eyeballs. And I'm gonna go and see some fun Christmas lights in about 5 hours. So I'll smash all this together, put it up, and I look forward to having some discussions down below. Bye.